Hey, Wixman Ray here. Welcome to another edition of what do we call this? The weather, the weather update. Today is Sunday, March 1st. We're already into March 2026. Um, just a reminder, next week, maybe hit and miss on these videos. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to be traveling and whatnot, so we'll try to get you out a few next week. I can't promise there'll be one every day. For those of you that are new, which maybe some of you or a lot of you, um, this is a channel about I do weather updates. So I like to cover like what's going on right now around the country, around the United States, and then kind of give you a forecast. I think what I'm going to start doing here is probably just going out about 5 days. Especially this time of year, when you go past about 5 days, there's so much what we call model uncertainty with the computer models that help us forecast the weather that it's kind of a coin toss sometimes when you get past 5 to 6 days. So I may start doing this more shorter term, 3 to 5 days. We'll see how it goes, and maybe that'll trim down the videos. Maybe not today because I'm just talking on here at the beginning, but yeah, that's what we're all about on this channel for the most part, mostly weather. I will occasionally put up either shorts or little short videos about some of my travels. I'm debating. I like to do what they call marble racing. Um, that's a thing, actually. There's actually a couple channels out there on YouTube about it. Jelly's Marble Run, a shout out to them. That's pretty cool if you get in, maybe kids might more get into that, but hey, there's adults that like that stuff too. Yeah, and then I like to mess around with Hot Wheels, so maybe I'll do some Hot Wheels racing. We'll see. Um, so that's to be determined. Kind of some changes going on in my life over the next few months, so I may not start those type of videos until later this year. We'll see how it goes. So, anyways, but yeah, look forward to some travel videos starting maybe next week, and you know, and at least the next week or two, as I'm going to be traveling to do some things. So, all right, so we'll get started with the weather here. Enough of that. We got a couple systems going on. We'll start out west. We got this low pressure sitting out over the Pacific right now, just offshore of Northern California, bringing in some rain up into Northern California and parts of Oregon and Northern Nevada and up into Idaho a little bit. Um, and then we got another system with some rain breaking out here in parts of Kansas and Oklahoma. There's also, so it looks like, a threat of some thunderstorms. There's also a little threat of thunderstorms, just like yesterday. Maybe one or two isolated storms out here, but for the most part, it's just going to be rain. And then this system's kind of exiting the northeast. This is a cold front that kind of stretches. It's gone offshore, but it kind of runs, across Pennsylvania, Ohio, back into the, you know, central part of the country, northern Missouri, in this general area. So that's where some what we'll call Arctic air is. That's where the coldest temperatures are right now. And yeah, so that's what's going on there. There's a little bit of a front, weak front down in this with this developing area of lower pressure that I spoke about just a second ago. We'll get more into that as we talk about the models here, the forecast. And then you got some lingering, a few isolated showers and thunderstorms across South Florida today. This is due to this old frontal boundary. It's pretty much washed out now. There's not much frontal properties, but there's enough what we call low level where the winds kind of come together. It's called low level convergence, and that's what helps to develop these thunderstorms over that area, especially with all the moisture that's down there. And they have some instability due to the heating and the good sun angle they got going on down there today. All right, so we'll move forward. Um, I got ahead of myself here. That was the forecast chart, the GFS model. I'll show you the obs here. I usually do that second. I just jumped right to it. I guess I've had a little too much caffeine this morning. Yeah, I had to get something to get me going. I had to wake up real about 5:45 this morning, and so I was dragging there for a bit. Yeah, so we got this rain out here currently. A little bit of rain out through Oregon, into Northern California, Northern Nevada, Idaho. Real light stuff for the most part. Some of it may not even be hitting the ground. So, um, got some clouds out here in this part of the world, like I showed you on the satellite. Um, it's what's it, 9 o'clock in the morning Pacific time. So, relatively nice. I mean, for this time of morning, 40s and 50s mostly. Um, Going down south, it's already into the 70s, down into Phoenix and towards LA, almost 70. So it's going to warm up and be pretty nice. 71 in Vegas right is this morning too. 52 this morning in Salt Lake. So, a little, just a light jacket weather, but it'll warm up through the day, probably be in the 60s there today. Um, we'll just kind of go through this quick. All across the south, pretty nice weather, mostly 60s and 70s this morning, even into New Mexico. 50s a little farther north than New Mexico, but yeah, so yeah, nothing really too significant. We'll go look down at Florida real quick. Yeah, you can see on the radar, there's a couple thunderstorms, real isolated though, out over South Florida, so not everyone's going to get the rain today, but there's a threat of it out down there today. And relatively nice. It's in the 70s, already to 83 in Miami. So, yeah. All right. So we'll go up here to the north. Even 70s up into Virginia and it's what, about noon out there. So it's the middle of the day. So they've had heating for a few hours. 60s back in Tennessee, approaching 50, 60 in parts of Kentucky. You can see where that cold front is. There's some 40s up in the northern part of Kentucky. So, yeah. So, yeah, here's where the colder air is back here. You can see some snow, light snow bands. Whoops, dropped my mouse here. Um, Going down through parts of Rhode Island and Massachusetts and Long Island there, a little bit of snow, but that'll be ending here shortly. That's going to be moving offshore here in the next couple hours. Um, so maybe some additional snow accumulation, just right near freezing out there, upper 20s to about 32 or so. Um, yeah, so a little bit cooler, especially as you get up here into northern Maine and the teens, some 20s back here in New York. I mean, not unusually cold, but it's a little bit cooler than normal for March 1st. Yeah, and pretty quiet back here in the teens and 20s, some single digits up, northern part of Minnesota. Yeah, even up into, I don't have, there we go. Yeah, far North Dakota, some single digits, but in teens. So some Arctic type air. Looks like there's still a few little maybe snow flurries. This doesn't look real significant underneath the clouds here. So, and here's that system we talked about that's developing in the plains here. So we got, looks like, there might be some light snow going on in parts of Nebraska. Um, Looks like the rain snow line is probably roughly from near Kansas City over towards what, that Salina, Kansas. Um, you see this stuff too. This is probably some thunderstorms trying to develop in there. So we might get some thunderstorms on the warmer side of this system. I mean, it's in the, what, mid upper 30s near 40 down here. So it's kind of cool. But yeah, there's something trying to develop there. And there's going to be a little bit of snow up in here. It's not going to be like a big snowstorm or anything, but you might get some accumulations here and there. And then farther south, even some stuff trying to develop down in Oklahoma. Looks like it's just showers now. It could become thunderstorms later on today. And fairly warm in Oklahoma City, 67. So, yeah, so that's what's going on. So we'll get right back to that model I was talking about since I got ahead of myself. So we'll just kind of go forward. So I'll show you this. So yeah, look, you can see that this blue shows snow. That's what the model's indicating. And then this pinkish looking stuff. That could be a mix, you know, of snow and maybe some sleet, or snow or rain snow mix, something like that. Anyways, and then all the green is the rain, just for those of you who aren't familiar with these colors mean, because sometimes I don't always explain that. So, but that's what that means. So, yeah, so this is going overnight. So, yeah, I mean, it's not, you see some blues out here, so there might be a little bit of snow on the northern edge, but mostly just rain and some thunderstorms, you know, from parts of Missouri down through Oklahoma, and this is through tonight. Out west, you can see the rain kind of still in the same general area. It looks like it expands a little bit in California, Oregon, and Nevada and Idaho, but mostly rain. The snow levels are going to be pretty high, 9 to 10,000 feet out here. So this is going into Monday morning. This system is, you know, moving it onshore. This is actually a upper level low pressure system, and so that's moving across into the Great Basin area um, for Monday, and towards Utah and Idaho. And then this system out here is moving along through, you know, parts of Tennessee, Kentucky, you know, near Cincinnati, and then parts of Virginia and West Virginia over here, where they might see a little bit of snow on the colder side of this system. There's a little bit of cold air damming going on right here because you got the Appalachians. So what happens is the cold air kind of butts up against those Appalachians on the east side of them, and it stays a little bit cooler, and that's why you're kind of seeing the snow over here, snow mix type wintry mix here, and rain mostly on the western side. So that's what's going on there. So we'll just get going through this. So this is going in. So this is Monday night. So, you know, here in about 36 hours Monday night. So this system's moving east. It's almost out of here, but it's still going on. Still some wintry mix up in Virginia, parts of West Virginia, and then rain on the other parts. Might still be some thunderstorms going on. And then this system's moving into Utah, Wyoming, and Colorado here as we move into Monday night and Tuesday. And you can kind of see that. This is by the middle of the day on Tuesday, this storm. And then you kind of see, so you saw that low pressure is forming out in eastern Colorado, and that's in response to this. What happens is you get these like you can either get what they call upper level trough slash, we call it a short wave in meteorology, or an upper level low, which this is more of right now. And that in response to that, these lee side lows in eastern Colorado and usually form up, and so we're seeing this low form, and then we got a warm front that extends across Kansas, Missouri, and, you know, out towards Illinois and towards Indianapolis, Cincinnati area, and that kind of stretches all the way to the East Coast. And that's it kind of merges with this first system here that was out here, you know, that was moving across to, you know, that's moving out there today. So that's what's going on. But this looks like a fairly warm system, except for looks like some lingering wintry mix in parts of Pennsylvania and New York as we go through the day on Tuesday. So we'll go into Tuesday night. So the snow and rain winds down. Out here, the snow levels will probably be around 5 to 6,000 feet. You know, Wyoming, Colorado, and even Utah. They'll drop because it's a little bit colder under that upper level low pressure system. So that'll drop the snow levels even when it goes back into the Great Basin there on Monday. So those snow levels will drop a little bit. So yeah, so here's that low. It's kind of reoriented down here towards Oklahoma and Texas, you know, that general area. And then you got the warm front kind of stretching up through here. So you're going to see a lot of rain from, you know, Oklahoma, Missouri, Kansas, you know, all the way across this area. And then a little bit of snow on the north, the cold end up here in the northeast. And this is Tuesday night. So as we go through the day on Wednesday, so that first little section, that first little storm goes bye-bye. Off it goes into the Atlantic, and here's this that low pressure that we saw forming out here in Colorado here on Tuesday. So by Wednesday, you know, midday into the afternoon, This looks like this will throw out a pretty good threat of some thunderstorms. I believe SPC, the Storm Prediction Center with the National Weather Service, has put out like I think it was either marginal or slight risk of, I got to look again, but I'm not going to pull, well, maybe I'll pull that up for you so you can see it. But yeah, in this general area, North Texas into Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, maybe up here north, close to Kansas City or just east of them towards St. Louis. And then looks like some heavier rain too out through Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. So yeah, so this is a, pretty decent low pressure system. While we're talking about that, that's Wednesday, right? So let's go to the Storm Prediction Center I got here and we'll update this. And okay, so yeah, you can see those thunderstorms. This is, if you, I don't know if you can see this. This is today. There's stuff out here for the west, but like I said, very isolated if it even does happen. Here's that stuff out in Oklahoma and Kansas, Missouri for today. Some thunderstorms, even a marginal risk down in Oklahoma. So I get one or two severe storms. We'll see. So this is for Tuesday. Some thunderstorms here and here. Day 3. So this is, what is this? This is Tuesday. So this is Monday. This is Tuesday. Yeah. So I was looking at this day 4. Yeah. So like I was saying, yeah, down in that. Stop it. So day 4, it's just in a loop. But hold on. Now it's not. So day 4. Come on. It doesn't want to cooperate. But this is what day 4 looks like on Wednesday. So that North Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, maybe some severe weather. And then this is for Thursday. Oh, no, this is Friday. So they got this clear out on Friday, day 6. They're pretty confident, from Missouri down to, this will be another system that's developing, and that's the one we'll talk about. We haven't talked about yet. So that's Friday. So, but Wednesday, yeah, like I'm talking about here, could be some definitely thunderstorms and maybe some severe thunderstorms out in this neck of the woods. So something to watch out for. So now we're going into Wednesday night. Well, you know what? Let's go back. Let's talk about this out here now. So we got this next system start bringing some rain in the Pacific Northwest on Tuesday. And then you got another chunk of energy that comes in on Wednesday, brings some valley rain, mountain snow to the west here, Northern California, and this whole general area. And so, yeah, going through Wednesday afternoon into Thursday or Wednesday night, yeah, you'll probably see some snow down in maybe we're down to about 6,000 feet elevation. Probably lower up here. It's always colder up here, but so yeah, we'll see some rain and snow out here. That's the next system coming, and this is that one that'll affect the plains on Friday. And here's what's left of this system still. So you're gonna have some ongoing thunderstorms Wednesday night. Still might be severe down in here, and then rain. But you see, this is a really warm system. Um, so going into Thursday, so this system, they still got a low pressure up here in southern Michigan. It's starting to weaken. You're still going to see some thunderstorms going on through this area from Oklahoma, stretching through Indiana, Ohio, and then along the warm front, some rain. But it's really going to be fairly warm, except for maybe up in Maine and those parts. Everyone else in the U.S. I mean, it will start to cool off back here in the west with this system, and you're going to see this low pressure system here is moving into Utah on Thursday, so they'll have some valley rain, mountain snow, maybe by the looks of it in the morning, they may even have some in Salt Lake City down in the valley. So keep an eye on that for your local forecast in Idaho, parts of Utah, and Wyoming. So as we go into Thursday night, this system moves out, and you see this low pressure formed again out in Colorado. That's a real Genesis area. And here is the next storm. So Thursday night into Friday. So this is that one that could produce, they're confident maybe in some severe weather out in this area on Friday. But so something to keep an eye on. Looks like some snow across the high plains developing. So something to keep an eye on as that system moves out of the Rockies the end of next week. That's about as far as I'm going to go with that. So yeah, so hey, like I said, we may not have a video tomorrow. We're going to be traveling. It's going to be hit and miss next week. I can't promise when I'll have my next one. It may just be a travel video or short. So, yeah, stay tuned. I appreciate y'all watching and subscribing. Please like and subscribe if you like this content. And this was Wixman Ray out. He's got that